Yo, what's going on, you guys, and welcome back to Tunnel Vision Talk. No, we are not dead, but had some things come up. I was sick a little bit in September, towards the beginning of the month. But we're back now. So we're coming at you. We're doing a little bit different than what we planned on doing. We're gonna do review of week one, predictions week two, all that stuff. Unfortunately, things change. So we're gonna be doing kind of like the main storylines of the first 3 weeks of the season, kind of like who's hot, who's not, um, what players have broken out, because a lot of players have broken out this season, and it's been pretty crazy in terms of like the people that you wouldn't have expected, some people coming back that like you didn't think you would hear from them. Josh Gordon's on his annual. Let me come back, play for a team for 4 games, and I'm gonna get suspended the rest of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Apply for the same reinstatement next year, and that cycle's always fun. So we just got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we're gonna start it out with our first segment, which today is going to be the team builder segment. I believe last time I narrowed the score down to 3-2. You are winning. Or is it tied up 3-3? I believe it's 3-2.
I don't remember.
It looks like it is now 3-3.
Yeah.
So this week, I'm gonna let you start out with your quarterback.
Okay, my quarterback. We also added a head coach this week.
Yes.
So just point that in there. It's just the last one. My quarterback is Derek Carr.
Derek Carr definitely has been a key player for that Raiders team through the first few weeks of the season. 3-0 Raiders. We did not think that was going to happen. I'm pretty sure we predicted them like 0-3.
At this point, yeah.
My quarterback though is definitely better. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Had a rough week one, but has definitely bounced back since then. So
Mm-hmm.
First point of team builder will go to me. And we'll move on to running back. I got Alvin Kamara. So
see, I would have said you beat me here, but I got CMC. So this is up for debate here.
All right, here's my thing. Kamara does exactly what CMC does.
Okay.
But Kamara has stayed healthy.
Okay. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna judge these team builders when we go throughout the season as the player's status and the player's production as of that point from week one to this point. So from week one to week three, who has been better?
All right, let me see. Rushing yards. CMC does have him beat in rushing yards.
And we're not gonna come down to like stats like this every time. It's just, I mean,
this
it's
is
obvious.
It's a pretty close one. Let's see. Receiving yards. Obviously, CMC has more. Yeah, I'll give it to CMC.
All right.
Just because he was playing really good football before he got hurt.
Yeah, and this will be the same way we do it for the rest of the season, like I said. So it's just the player and how they produce the season.
Yeah.
So do you want me to go ahead and say my
receivers?
All three?
Yeah.
Coming in at wide receiver 1, Amari Cooper. Wide receiver 2, Devontae Smith. Wide receiver 3, Calvin Ridley.
I will say I also had Calvin Ridley, but my other two, I think I have you beat just because you have Devontae Smith. Because I have Tyler Lockett and I have Cooper Kupp.
So I'd say Cooper Kupp is better than Cooper, is better than Amari Cooper. I'd say
I have two of the top 5 receiving yards leaders right now in Lockett.
Yeah, but Tyler Lockett is like the same page as Russell Wilson, where
yeah.
Tyler Lockett is always going to be top 5 in receiving yards for the first 5-6 weeks of the season, and then he's going to drop off. But if we're going off of now, Tyler Lockett is definitely better than Devontae Smith.
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp is 100% better than Amari Cooper. Calvin Ridley cancels out. So I'd give it to you.
Trying to get this light to like not make me just look like a Casper the Ghost over here.
You look like you have an eye patch on.
For real. And like, oh, wait, hold on, other side. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I might as well. It's either that or I'm just like straight blinded by this.
Yeah.
So,
All
we'll
right.
just move on to
Yep. You go ahead and do
the
your tight end.
tight end. I got Mike Gesicki. Wasn't too
All
happy
right.
because he hasn't really done much.
So I think you take the lead on this one.
Oh,
I had Dan Arnold.
poor guy. Poor soul.
Yeah.
Got traded from the 3-0 Panthers to the 0-3 Jaguars.
Yeah. So I got the Jags and I was like, that has to be Dan Arnold, right? And I was like, who else do they have at tight end?
Yeah.
Like, is it Eifert still?
Probably. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
Tim Tebow. I know that.
No.
So
Okay.
moving on to the O-line, I got the Saints O-line, which I was really happy with.
I got the Chiefs O-line.
Yeah, that is pretty good. All right, how I'm gonna do it for this one is just how many times the quarterback has been sacked.
All right. That
So,
works.
I'm gonna have
And
to
if
look
it's
up like
tied, if it's tied, we'll flip a coin. Like if Winston's been sacked once or something, I don't know. You're up 3-1, correct? Going into this round.
yes. So QB sacks allowed. I clicked on the wrong thing, didn't I? Let's see. Okay, QB sacked per game. Rams have the lowest. Kansas City has the second lowest right now with 1.3 sacks allowed per game. Where even is New Orleans is averaging 2.3. Never mind. I thought they were doing a lot better this year.
So did I.
So you will have a point going into the defensive round. What's the defense looking like?
I have the New York Football Giants.
Oh, I mean, like their defense on paper is really good. It's just like this year they haven't been performing too well.
Right. Like they have all the star power, I feel like.
I mean, they got carved up by Teddy Bridgewater and Taylor Heineke. I got the Panthers defense, which I like. Because I mean, their front seven so far has just been amazing with Brian Burns, Hassan Reddick coming off the other side. I really wish the Titans had gotten Hassan Reddick. That's what I wanted. No, I didn't want Dupree. I wanted Hassan Reddick as our other guy. Because, I mean, you look at Harold Landry right now. Harold is second in QB pressures to Max Crosby. But because we don't have like a strong force on the other side, because Dupree is still recovering from his ACL.
Right. And Roberson's been out.
So I mean, Ola. I'm not even gonna try and say his whole name, but Ola for the Titans.
Ola Adani.
Yeah, 1.5 sacks last game, mainly because of Harold Landry on the other side. Big Jeff coming through, but we can get to the Titans later. We will stick to this for now. So matchup points. So Giants, and then the Panthers. I mean, matchup point could honestly go either way, just because
I'd give it okay. I'd give it to the Giants.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Just because the Panthers quarterbacks.
Yeah, they just lost JC. They just signed CJ Henderson. You don't know who or traded for him, whatever. You never know how he's gonna produce.
Yeah.
I would give it to the Giants. Also head coach.
Yep, head coach. I'll let you go first on this one.
All right.
So set the stakes. If you do this, then we go into a tie, which will just be a coin flip.
Oh, if I win this round.
Yep.
All right, my head coach is the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mike Tomlin.
I got Matt Rule, which I like him. I like what he's done, but like personally, I don't know if I've seen enough yet. I mean, I've seen what he's done in college, which I mean, obviously college to NFL doesn't really translate.
Yeah, Urban Meyer
that often. Yeah. So I mean,
like playing Alabama every week. Yeah, I'd give it to Mike Tomlin.
which puts us at a 4-4 tie and into the coin flip. So I'll just do I'm heads, your tails.
Okay.
So flip a coin. Let's see if I can get this on the no chance.
No.
It's heads. If I
Okay.
could like show it, it would be great, but virtual wait. If
Oh,
I can't even like put it. This is some yeah.
heads.
It says heads. All
All
right.
right.
So I take it on that one. And
Yep.
I actually take the lead for the first time in the history of Team Builder.
Yeah.
So we will definitely be doing that once again next week. That's definitely probably our favorite segment to do just because name them, rank them. It gets kind of gets like, who am I
Repetitive.
picking now? Yeah. So we will move on into top five, which this top five is kind of a little transition into our main part, which is going over what has really happened the first 3 weeks, the good, the bad, the ugly. And
Mhm.
it is our top five teams to start the year. Definitely not what we were thinking. I mean, the reigning two-time AFC champs in a row, Kansas City Chiefs, don't think are on either of our lists. So, I mean, already off the bat, been a crazy start to the season.
3 weeks. Yeah.
So, I'm just going to go ahead and let you start off with your number five.
All right. So at number 5, I have the San Francisco 49ers. So main reasoning for this was when I was making the list, I had my 1 through 5 going down, and it was I was getting to the end of it, and I was like, to me, it came between the Packers and the 49ers. And I liked the production of the Packers. However, I think and Aaron Rodgers coming back, and him playing like his old self and everything. I understand all that. I think the 49ers can do with whatever that year was the Cowboys had their QB rotation. Can rotate Trey Lance and Jimmy G, and I think they could be a force. And NFC West is a competitive division, but make a run for that NFC West title. I that was a tough one for me, and that's why I really don't have an explanation for it. I feel like you could put the Packers there, you could put the 49ers there. Packers are definitely 6, or vice versa, but that had to be the 49ers. I feel like the 49ers were the better team in that game. It came down to poor clock management at the end of that game, which kind of let the Packers get it back and everything. But I feel like the 49ers were the better team in that game, so that's why they're there.
You know, I'm going to have to tell you that you're wrong right there. I got Packers number 5. I think they were the better team of that game. You know, I mean, the 49ers didn't have an answer to Devontae Adams. Like they ended up triple teaming him like in the second half.
And hit him in the head.
Yeah, I mean, Jimmy Ward clocked them. You know, I saw my my fantasy football hopes flash before my eyes
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
because I was like, please get up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I just think Rodgers obviously had a horrible week 1. That's just a result of him not knowing if he wanted to play football for the Packers in the offseason. I mean, he was just playing golf, being a host of Jeopardy. He
Yeah,
did
he was
not
like
care.
enjoying retirement.
Yeah, like you're not retired, buddy. And that was
Yeah.
kind of, I think that was just a wake up call in week 1. Like, hey, you can't do nothing and expect to get the same results you got last year.
Right.
So, I just think him and Devontae are going to be two-man wrecking crew. Aaron Jones obviously has done really good. Had 4 rushing touchdowns in that game against the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
That was insane.
Right.
And I just think even with the offensive line kind of struggling without David Bakhtiari, Elgton Jenkins has done a good job filling in there. I just think, yeah, the defense has struggled. That's mainly just Kevin King. He shouldn't be on the field. I mean, Jair Alexander, he's playing like the top 5 cornerback that he is.
Mm-hmm.
Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage have kind of picked up the slack a little bit since the start of the season. It's really gonna for me, it's their pass rush that's gonna have to step it up. Zadarius Smith went down. He's out for the season. So it's really just up to Rashawn Gary and Preston Smith to try and get things going in there. Devontae Campbell for me has been a really good piece at linebacker, which surprises me because here in Atlanta, I think he was here last year, but wherever he was last year, he didn't really play too well, which is why he was with the Packers for cheap. So I just think that if they continue to play well, then they're going to be the NFC title contenders like everyone thought they would be to start the season. So for
Yeah.
me at number 4, I think you might have them here too. I have the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Obviously, Titans. We saw that week 1. Big reason why we didn't want to do a podcast. We didn't want to talk about that. I mean, I mean, everyone was surprised by like their defense. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, their offense. They have Hopkins, Rondale Moore, Kyler. They got Edmonds. You know, their O line got they got better up there with Rodney Hudson. But I mean, their defense, the old guys, J.J. Watt, Chandler Jones, 5 sacks week 1 against the Titans. Obviously, you know, Taylor Lewan killed me. You know, busting with the boys. No free shout outs, but shout out busting with the boys. Taylor looked more like a podcaster week 1 than he looked like an NFL player. But in the secondary, you had guys, Isaiah Simmons, he steps up big. You got Byron Murphy Jr. He's gotten a couple picks. He looks really good against Titans. I would know because I was watching the game through a waterfall of tears. More guys, Buda Baker obviously playing like a top 10 safety because he is. You have just a really good core on defense that a lot of people weren't expecting.
Hmm.
And that is really, for me, helped them become a top 5 team. And for me, they're more of a contender now than the Packers are, just because I think that their defense could hold more than the Packers could at this point.
Yeah. So, like you said, I also have Cardinals at 4. You covered touch base, whatever it was. For the most part, I'd just like to add that I was there. I've never seen a Titans home game in the 4.5, however long I've been going. I've never seen a game where the fans leave at the start of the second quarter. Like, I
Yeah.
kid you not, half that stadium was up and out. Like, it was awful. And we're sitting there like, I mean, everyone around was like, all right, see you guys. And we're like, this is insane. I mean, by halftime, it was just completely red at the front row because all the Cardinals fans had moved to the front row from the entire stadium. Everyone just came down, right? So we did the same thing. We moved to the front row. So, like I said, where the name comes from, we stayed on the tunnel. The Titans did not throw a single thing into the crowd. Heads were down the entire time walking into the tunnel. It was awful. Point being, the Cardinals are a force, and like you said, I think it could be Cardinals, Cardinals Packers, right? Cardinals Rams, Cardinals 49ers. I mean, they're that NFC West. They are all contenders. If the Seahawks pick that back up, they're all contenders.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Cardinals, just with Kyler Murray showing like that that his old college self or whatever you want to call it, like he's running around all over people, can still heave the ball down the field. It's just it's unstoppable to a point. Them and the Rams playing twice this year. It's going to be interesting, definitely. But yeah, 4, no doubt. You could have them higher. I wouldn't be mad at you. But yeah.
I think we honestly might have the same 3-2-1. My number 3 is the Buffalo Bills. Only reason they're not higher for me is just that the little week 1 slip up, Josh Allen didn't look as good. You know, all the haters were out like, yeah, 1 year wonder, 1 year wonder. But the biggest reason for me why they are at 2 instead of my number 2 is Stephon Diggs. You know, I have him in a fantasy league, complete waste of like a second round pick. I mean,
Hmm.
he hasn't been doing Stephon Diggs things. I know they haven't really needed him to, but like I think to win the big games, to beat the teams like the Chiefs, to beat the teams like the Buccaneers, you're gonna need your number one wide receiver to step up and be able to have big games, which he just has not had even a solid game so far, in
Right.
my opinion. I mean, you got a guy projected 18 fantasy points. He's underperforming, getting 12. Like that's
Hmm.
unacceptable. I
Yeah.
mean, defense obviously playing really well. Tremaine Edmonds. I mean, they had Luke Kuechly out there working with them in training camp, so their linebackers are obviously gonna look really good. Tremaine Edmonds has been good. Matt Milano. Pass rush has been really good. The new guys, Carlos Basham, Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver up there still. Those guys have been a force. I know they've been getting it like 2+ sacks per game. So I think with the defensive production, the defense can hang with a team like the Chiefs. It's just the offense needs to kind of pick up from their slow start. I think they can be AFC contenders.
Yeah.
Well, AFC
Um.
winners.
Yeah. Yeah. I also have the Buffalo Bills, and it's yeah, and that's what I'm saying. They could definitely be, if they had blown out the Steelers week one, they could be in talks for number one, right?
Mhm.
So I think a lot of that comes from them, like them being at three comes from, like you said, they lost, and it wasn't a pretty, like it wasn't like a close game, battle to the end, like it was ugly. So um yeah, that puts him at three for me. I don't have Stephon Diggs in a fantasy league, but I have seen his production or his lack of.
Yeah.
But yeah, the, the blowout to the Dolphins, um, Tua could have contributed to that, or again, the lack of Tua contributed to that. But yeah, so yeah, that they're three for me. That's kind of like that awkward spot where they're better than the Cardinals, number two team of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tells you who's number one. But you saw the Rams and the Bucks play. So the Bucks, they didn't play bad, but you saw how outshined they got. And this is a like Super Bowl contention. That this could be a Super Bowl game. So I don't know. Brady's playing like Brady. You've seen all this controversy about him and Bill Belichick. And I think
Mhm.
it's just leading up to this game that they're about to play, and it's just all for,
Like
just for show.
blowout.
But yeah, yeah. But yeah, Buccaneers too, because they've brought back everyone. Just signed Richard Sherman. They've brought back everyone. They're the exact same team.
Mhm.
Um, you can't have them any lower. And to me, they're only not one because of what this team has done. But yeah,
Yeah.
Buccaneers, no question. And yeah, I know you've got the exact whatever from their games, but
Yeah.
Buccaneers would
Uh,
be. I'd say okay. Listen, here's my thing. The number one team is going to be number one the whole time, the whole season. Buccaneers are in that, like, they're going to keep going until this number one team starts slacking off. Then the Buccaneers are going to keep going.
mhm.
So I mean, to me, it's like the Bucks are two until the first team like loses two games, and then they're in front.
Yeah.
Like
Either that or if Tom Brady gets hurt.
exactly.
Because I mean,
And injuries are going to happen. Like,
I
but
mean,
to me, it's like
the
Gronk
brother
gets
is
hurt,
44 years old.
right. But like Gronk gets hurt, and I think you're still fine.
Mhm.
One of your receivers gets hurt, you're fine because you've
Yeah.
got depth everywhere. So I don't know. I think you're okay.
Yeah. I mean, the only place that I might see a concern there is kind of the secondary. I mean, Richard Sherman is a good addition, only if he can play like uh his Seattle self or his 2019 49ers self. Just
Yeah,
because I
but to
mean,
me, Richard Sherman is better 10 times than whoever they had there. So
well, I think it was Sean Murphy Bunting, but he got hurt.
it was
I think
Bunting. Yeah.
yeah, that's why they got
Bunting
him.
right now is a better corner, but
I
um,
just think the only problem that they might have is if they go up against a team like the Cardinals have those speedy guys.
Or even
Sherman's
the
not a very
Titans,
fast guy.
even the Titans, like big guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at like just looking at teams on my list. I don't know, 49ers. Oh, those little quick guys. Like the 49ers, I said this forever. The 49ers are a team that's like that has a bunch of wide receiver twos, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all just like they all are the exact same. I don't know how they've had success, but they're all the exact same build. So it's
Yeah.
like I don't know. But yeah, no. The secondary, I'm not gonna say it's not a concern anymore, but that stress has definitely been lifted for Buccaneers fans.
Yeah. It's like probably the biggest spot of concern that you can find on that team.
Yeah, and it's not even that it's a concern. It's just like, what are you looking for? And that's
Yeah.
like the slight flaw.
Yeah, maybe running back too, because Tom Brady was their leading rusher last week.
Yeah, I saw that. I was
Which
like, oh no.
how are you gonna let that happen?
With 14 yards.
Yeah.
Like, that is stupid.
Which leads us into our number one team who beats the Buccaneers last week, and that is the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, we predicted it. We have them going to the Super Bowl, and that has not changed. We knew that this week 3 game, Rams and Bucks, would probably end up being the NFC Conference Championship, barring any
Oh, wait. Yeah, I said
bad,
Super Bowl.
barring any bad injuries. This is probably going to be the matchup, unless like
Right.
a sneaky Cardinals can get in there or 49ers. But I mean, just Rams defense outstanding. Jalen Ramsey playing like he's the number one corner in the league because he is. Aaron Donald showing why he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year again.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have Aaron Donald on the defensive line, everyone else around him is going to eat. When you have Jalen Ramsey in the secondary, everyone else is going to eat. I mean, it's just unfair to have like 2 of the best guys at their position on the same defense because
Yeah.
that just brings the entire defense up exponentially. Offense, Matthew Stafford, just been playing the best football of his life. He
Yeah.
just looks like he's having fun out there because he's got guys like Cooper Kupp. He's got Robert Woods. He's got Deshaun Jackson, who he's loved throwing to. Van
Yeah, for real.
Jefferson.
Yeah.
Tyler Higbee's done good.
Yeah.
And
And
really,
to me, this shows really like what this offense could have done with Cam Akers.
yeah.
That this would be an offense you talked about for years. Like,
Mhm.
when you think of defense, you're like, well, 85 Bears. But like this is a team that's like crazy. And it's not even that Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, they've played together for however long, like what, 6,
Mhm.
7 years.
Something like that.
You don't see Jared Goff. You see how much that brought their team down. Like they're pretty much the same team they were last year, aside from Josh Reynolds leaving and Tyler Higbee, no, Gerald Everett
Mhm.
leaving. They're pretty much the same team. So that change at quarterback, and the chemistry between Stafford and Kupp coming through like quick, is just crazy. And McVay is just, he could be up for Coach of the Year. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. But they, the production there. I know I'm not gonna say no one saw it coming because people definitely did. We did, but I don't think we saw this type of like playmaking and everything. I don't think anyone saw any of that coming,
Mhm.
aside from maybe Rams fans. But
My
Yeah.
only real concern with them is running back play.
yeah,
You just got to have Sony Michelle and Darrell Henderson really, really flourish in a running
right.
back committee type thing that they got going on there. But I mean, other
Yeah,
than that, I think that they're just going to keep chugging along. They'll probably
yeah,
end up being like 14-3, 15-2.
yeah. What I was saying is they had Sony Michelle had like that block,
Yeah.
and it was like insane. It's like, well, you don't have to run the ball when you've got this, high power passing offense because you have to. You don't have any running backs.
Yeah.
Darrell Henderson really hasn't been playing that bad.
Mhm.
Maybe not stat wise, but he really hasn't been playing that bad. Like pass catching, really, which I was surprised to see. But yeah,
Now we will transition into just kind of a review of what has happened. Um, Main storylines. I'm going to start us off with the Raiders.
Yeah.
I mean, who saw this coming? They come out week 1. They beat the Ravens in that intense Monday night game. They come out week 2. Everyone's like, all right, what are they going to do to follow that up? They go and they beat the Steelers. They beat them. I mean,
Yeah.
wasn't, I mean, it was a pretty close game, wasn't it?
No, it was like 10, 11 points. I thought it was like
Um,
26-17.
Yeah, 26-17.
Yeah.
I mean, it it's just been all Derek Carr. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
through 2 weeks, he had 817 yards. Through 3 weeks, 1,203 yards. He's averaging 400 yards a week. Um, I mean, his completion percentage isn't as high as others, but I mean, when you're just absolutely slinging it, and you have guys like Henry Ruggs in that offense, Darren Waller. I mean, their receiving core isn't that good outside of Darren Waller. It's just a whole bunch of like
Henry
small,
Ruggs.
shifty
Yeah.
guys.
To me, like you said, it's all Derek Carr making the plays. Like
Mhm.
that throw to Henry Ruggs in the Steelers game was crazy. Like just like right where it needed to be.
Mhm.
And that's all Derek Carr. So I mean, it's like huge props to him. He's that quarterback that everyone's been waiting for him to be. I feel like that's like him and Stafford this year. Those quarterbacks that like they're not in the same situation at all, but they're those two quarterbacks that have been. Everyone expected them to be like this, but they just never have been.
Yeah.
And everyone knew they could be like that, but they just never have been. So it's like they're finally getting to that spot. If the Raiders can keep going, I'd love to see them have
Mhm.
success this year. They're like one of the teams that I really know nothing against
Yeah.
other than their fans. But
Yeah. It's weird. And then next up on passing yards, you got Tom Brady. I mean, he's 44, not slowing down anytime soon, playing better football than in the first 3 games that he was in his MVP season in 2007 when he had Randy Moss. They went undefeated. I mean, obviously they're not going to go undefeated this year because they've already suffered a loss. But when you got a guy who's 44 years old, he's got the second most passing yards. He's got a top 10 passer rating. He's got the most passing touchdowns with 10. I mean, led the team in rushing last week.
that's not a that's not something to be proud of.
Well, I mean, for Lamar Jackson, that's just an every week thing.
Yeah, running back.
I mean, stats don't lie. Fourth most rushing yards. But for me, it's just like the Buccaneers won't slow down, as we said in our top 5. They won't slow down until like something horrible happens, like an injury, or just like Mike Evans forgets how to play football. Brady just his knees lock up, can't play
Yeah.
anymore, has to retire.
Here's a bold prediction. Well, I wouldn't say bold.
Yeah.
Tom Brady's playing till he's 50.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good possibility.
And I'm not saying I'm saying play. Like
Yeah.
that could be playing in a quarterback system. Like Kyle Trask, Kyle Trask comes out and he's like this next backup that's turned into a starter, a reliable starter that they interchange. Like something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's playing till he's 50. He just wants to do it. I think like he wants to be that like, yeah, I'll play till I'm 50. Or he'll be on contract till he's 50. I'm not saying he'll have playing time, but like 6 more years for him is a long time. Especially with all the stuff coming out about his agent getting mad at Belichick about him not changing the playbook around and everything, for a 44-year-old compared to when he was 20, 40, whenever he was in the Patriots. But yeah, I think he's playing till he's 50, and that has nothing to do with this week or these past 3 weeks, but he's playing till he's 50.
I mean, other things. I mean, Derrick Henry, still best running back in football, leading the league in rushing through 3 weeks. I mean, not that close. I mean, 70 yards. That's like a game's work for some of these guys.
Yeah.
I mean, you take the average, only three people, including Henry, have an average greater than 70 yards per game through 3 weeks. And that's
Jeez.
Chubb, Mixon, and Henry. Joe Mixon has
Oh,
kind of emerged as like that guy who everyone thought would be good, but like he's finally breaking out. Second in rushing yards, also second in attempts. I mean, it's just showing that they have more confidence in him, more willingness to give him the rock instead of making Joe Burrow make plays when it's not always there, even though
yeah.
that receiving core has been playing really well.
How many yards does Derek have?
Derek has 353
Okay.
and Mixon has 286. Mixon also is tied for first with the most broken tackles at 9. Second in yards after contact, only second to Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had that insane week against Seattle. He had more yards after contact than the next closest person, which was Dalvin Cook, had yards in general.
Jeez.
I mean, that just shows you what Derek's gonna do. He's gonna shake you off, and he's just gonna keep on running.
Right.
He's gonna find the end zone. The only thing that is kind of like what happened to this guy is like when you look at, I wouldn't say where did he go, but like Alvin Kamara. I mean, I thought he was playing pretty good this season, but then I go through all like these stats and it's like he's not even top 10 on like most of them. Not
Yeah.
top 10 in rush yards.
Well,
Even though he has the third most attempts. Like
it's because like to me, they throw the ball way more than they run the ball.
they
And I know you just
do,
said he has the third most in attempts, but like
but I mean, even that he doesn't have over 100 receiving yards yet through 3 weeks.
they're just not using him. Like they've seen these Jawan Johnson breaking out in camp, Marquez Callaway breaking out in camp.
Mhm.
Like Jameis Winston can throw the ball down the field. There's no need for these checkdowns. Like,
Yeah.
that's why he's not having production. If that continues, who knows? But like, no, I don't know. It's not that I didn't expect him to be up there, but once I saw week 1 and what they were doing with that practice squad of a defense that the Packers brought out there, I mean, like 38 points week 1, like that's ridiculous. I'm a Titans fan, I understand, but we no, they threw the ball downfield a lot.
Mhm.
Week 1 kind of killed his momentum. Momentum as in like the start of. So like
Yeah.
he didn't have any production week 1. They saw what they could do. They tried it week 2. They keep going. It's just like until teams start to figure it out, he won't get touches and he won't get the passes. After that, he'll have that like late season when everyone else is hurt. If he's not hurt, he'll have production. So
I mean, the only thing with the Saints is like with Jameis, he's gonna start slinging it down the field, whether it's open or not. He's just gonna sling it. I mean, we saw him
30-30, baby.
Yeah, we saw him do that in Tampa. Obviously, he's just been a lot more smart with his decisions now, so he's not throwing interceptions like that. But I just think Kamara will end up being kind of like something they need down the line. They're gonna need him
Right.
to pick up his yards per attempt on the ground, and that'll be a big thing with their success. Now, speaking of receiving yards, we talked about it earlier, but I mean, the top 5 guys for receiving yards are Lockett, Devontae Adams, Brandon Cooks, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp. I mean, I don't think anyone expected that. Everyone probably would have expected like Tyreek. Everyone expected Devontae to be there. DeAndre Hopkins, Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, like guys like that. Stephon Diggs, everyone expected him to be there. But I mean, you got these guys that are absolutely breaking out like Deebo Samuel. And it's kind of just like, for me, I don't think Jimmy G's the answer that the 49ers need in their offense. I think if Trey Lance was there, Deebo Samuel would have even more yards because Trey Lance is a guy who's more willing to throw the ball downfield, has a really good deep ball. I think Deebo Samuel would be able to eat with a guy like Trey Lance. And it's kind of like Cooper Kupp. He's got Matthew Stafford now, which means he's going to get a lot more deep shots down the field, which has been the key to guys like Brandon Cook's success for having as many receiving yards as they do right now.
Yeah. So one thing that I was gonna say is Brandon Cooks, like underrated. I'm crazy underrated. I don't know what you would. I know you didn't expect Brandon Cooks up there. I know you didn't. I mean, I don't know what you had to say about Brandon Cooks, but I definitely didn't expect him up there. But yeah, I couldn't remember what I was gonna say about Lockett. You go ahead. I was gonna say something.
I think that while Tyreek Hill is 8th in receiving yards right now, it's just like the Chiefs are going to need a lot more out of him if they're going to want to be Super Bowl contenders again. Because we saw that they've just lost 2 weeks in a row now against the Ravens and the Chargers. And in both weeks, it's really been everyone kind of figuring out how to stop Tyreek Hill a little bit. Him not being able to use his speed as much, him not being able to get as much separation as we normally see. And it's really hurting him being able to get the ball in open space because everyone's in a tight coverage on him. I mean, who was the guy for the Ravens that was locking him up? Was it Anthony Everett, something like that?
I don't think his name. It's not Anthony. His last name is Everett. Maybe it's Anthony. I don't know.
But I just know
It's
that
Everett,
like
though.
the guy tweeted out and it was like Clampington.
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah. Lockett, though, I said this earlier. He's that guy that's like always has production in the first 5 weeks, like Russ. Always has production in those first 5 weeks. And then kind of falls off. DK probably will pick it up by then, is what I would think, right? So, or Chris Carson gets more involved. I feel like teams start to figure out Tyler Lockett down the stretch, and that's why he never really finishes with those yards. But he's always in that top 5 yards for the first half of the season, you know. So, one other thing I did want to talk about is the lack of production from Tyreek Hill, though. Fantasy wise, I've gotten like 5 points out of him for the past 2 weeks, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, go catch a ball, please. Like, just go run up 10 yards, turn around, catch the ball. 2 points. Like, that's all I need. Like, just do it. And he's, I don't know if they're just, I haven't been paying attention to their games. I don't know if they're just not targeting him, or, I mean, I don't see why not. But the Raiders, it's not like they have these like amazing corners that can't stop them. So when they play the Raiders, it'll be okay. But, like, I just don't know. Like the Chargers, who do they have at corner? Like,
who do they get?
they lost Casey Hayward. Like,
I don't even know.
I can't name a corner for the Chargers. So, like, how are you getting clamped to 9 points this week? Like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Especially when they scored 24. Like, you got to have Tyreek on some of those drives. I know you did. Like,
Chris Harris Jr.
Yeah. And the rest are nobodies.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. They got Michael Davis, Asante Samuel Jr. He's broken out.
Very. I thought they were playing him like nickel though.
And they might be. I don't know.
Corner, but
I mean, for me, it's kind of like, what I said earlier. Without Tyreek, Chiefs are gonna end up struggling mightily. Because once Tyreek's out of the picture, everyone's like, okay, ball's gonna go to Kelsey now because they don't really have a wide receiver too. Yes, they signed Josh Gordon.
Josh Gordon, man.
No, he's not gonna be good. You can't just
I mean,
you can't be in and out of the league as much as he is and
yeah,
expect him.
what's he played? Like maybe a full season in his entire career, like total games wise.
I think he had like one season with the Browns where it was like he played like most of the season, and I mean he did good. It
Yeah,
was like
he would obviously he's good, right? Or teams wouldn't keep signing him.
mhm.
Or he wouldn't keep trying to be reinstated if he didn't think he could get on team. So there's that factor to it. The Chiefs are just that kind of team that was like desperate for some type of hope at receiver to be like, hey, let's just try something new. Like let's
Because McCole Hardman has done absolutely
McCole isn't
nothing.
doing anything. Demarcus Robinson, whoever they have, isn't doing anything. It's Kelsey Mahomes Kittle. Kelsey Mahomes Hill. One of them gets hurt, they're done. So, because then you're down to Josh Gordon at wide receiver 1 and Nicole at 2. So it's like, geez.
And then the defense is horrific.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I did want to touch on defense a little bit right now. I mean, you got guys like Chandler Jones. He had 5 sacks first game. I mean, he kind of laid off since, but his pressure is still being felt. You got guys like Max Crosby, Harold Landry that we talked about earlier, breaking out, getting a lot of quarterback pressures, opening up the pass rush lanes for other guys on that D line, helping them get sacks. We were talking about the Titans defense. Obviously, we had like no sacks last year. We averaged like less than 1 a game. Already through 2 weeks, I know we should have at least like 5 total.
I don't know. Going into week 3, we had Jeff had 1.5. Danico had 1.5. Ola got 1 or 2. Ola got 1 by himself and split 1 with Harold this past week. So Harold has a half. Jeff and Danico have 1.5 each. Ola has 1.5.
Yeah, 7 sacks total as a team.
Yeah.
I mean, Buccaneers are last in sacks, which kind of surprises me because they have Shaq Barrett, Jason Pierre-Paul, Vita Vea, and Dominic Sue. But I mean, Titans are up there tied for 4th with 7 sacks. Raiders also 7 sacks, mainly because of Max Crosby. You got teams like Panthers with 14 because of production from Brian Burns, Derek Brown,
Daquan Jones.
Yeah, big Daquan. Browns have 12 sacks, mainly Myles Garrett.
He had like 4.5 last week, something ridiculous like that.
Has Clowney even done anything? I hope not.
I doubt it.
Let's see.
That was the most waste of 6 months of my life, and I know you're saying the same thing too. Clowney watch. He did nothing.
He has 2 sacks.
Okay, well that's more.
They're both against Chicago though, so it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't matter. That's 2 more than I thought he'd have.
That doesn't count. Doesn't count. Playing.
I mean, what Myles Garrett had like 4.5 against the Bears.
Yeah.
I mean,
poor Justin Fields. I mean, that's all you can really say.
It's ridiculous. Justin Fields with 1 net passing yard or 1 net yard on offense, whatever it was. Like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, that has it's kind of weird how like the more sacks you have on here, it's kind of like inverse related to how many interceptions you have. Because I mean, Browns really high up in sacks, only 1 interception this year. Raiders are pretty high up in sacks, only 1. Titans only 1. I mean, Panthers have 3 interceptions. That was kind of a result of playing rookie quarterbacks so far. So
yeah.
But
one thing, and if you're good to end it off on this part of this segment, I'm good. This one thing that I wanted to talk about is the teams that are undefeated. Obviously you're gonna look at Rams undefeated. Obviously they're good, not a fluke. Yeah. Cardinals undefeated, they're good, not a fluke. Right. It comes to the teams like the Raiders,
Broncos,
and the Broncos and the Panthers. Are those the 5?
Yes, it's
Okay,
Raiders, Broncos, Rams, Cardinals, and Panthers.
Raiders, Broncos, Rams, Cardinals, Panthers. So, yeah. So I mean, if we exclude, and really, I'm just excluding those two NFC West teams. So
Mhm.
you look at the Panthers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. The Broncos have played teams, and their combined record is 0-9. So 3-0-3 teams. So they're out. I don't know who they play next week. I think it's the Ravens.
The Broncos play the Ravens this week, and they open
Yeah,
up as 1-point favorites.
yeah, no, they're not winning that game. So
Okay, hear me out. Ravens had to count on Justin Tucker kicking a 66-yard field goal to beat the Lions.
the Lions, okay, that's one. That's the other thing I was gonna get
I,
to.
I'm not saying that they're horrible. I know
The
that they're
Lions are
actually pretty
not a
good.
bad team.
They're not as bad as everyone thought they would be. We had them going 0-17, our mistake.
Yeah, I know that.
But
They are 0-3. They could still go 0-17. Okay,
yeah.
but
As long as DeAndre Swift's gonna keep giving me my fantasy points, they can go in 17 all they
yeah,
want.
my point is, the Broncos are out. If they win against the Ravens, good for them, right?
Yeah.
But I still don't have hopes for them.
Raiders play the
Raiders-
Chargers.
The Raiders, to me, they're up there.
Yeah.
If Derek Carr can play like he did, to me, okay, look, this Chargers defense is winning. They beat one of the best offenses,
Mhm.
right, that we've seen in the past couple of years. Not this year, but like you know what I mean. They just held the Chiefs and they won.
Mhm.
If the Raiders can pull off a win against the Chargers right after the Chargers just beat the Chiefs, the Raiders are winning that division. So then it comes down to the Panthers. The Panthers, to me, do they win the AFC South or the NFC South? No.
Yeah.
Do they
Will
get
they
that
make the
wild card spot?
playoffs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do they get that wild card spot? Yes. Because when you look, I mean, okay, the NFC West could have 3 teams, if not 4, in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So that leaves one playoff spot open in the NFC, aside from the 4 leaders or whatever. So you have Bucks, you have, in my opinion, Bucks, Rams, what's the other one? Packers, and then what? NFC East, Cowboys.
Yeah.
So then you're gonna have Cardinals, 49ers, Panthers, right?
Yeah, maybe Vikings will be in there too.
Yeah.
If
See,
offense keeps it up, but
that's what I was saying. The only hope is there. So the Panthers, they're a good team, but they're not going to win the division, and I think
Mhm.
everyone knows that. To me, it's just like the focus right now is on the Raiders because the Raiders are such a surprise, and no one knows how to evaluate that, right? To me, if they start the season 4-0 and they beat the Chargers this week, I think everyone's gonna be like, "Oh snap!" Like they're for real kind of thing.
I mean,
And I
I
don't know
personally,
how strength of schedule wise, I don't know how it turns out for them, but if it looks good, I wouldn't be surprised to see them sneak out that playoff spot for sure, that wild card spot or that top of the division.
I mean, I personally want to see them play the Chiefs first because
Yeah.
the Raiders' defense to me, while Max Crosby has kind of really been helping that defense out. I mean, it's kind of like, how long can he keep up the production? Because I mean, again, we haven't really seen him do like as amazing as he has done to start the season. So I mean, if he can keep it up and keep applying pressure to offenses, then I think that it'll be good. Another thing is
Yeah, well,
Derek Carr. You don't know how
right.
long he's going to keep averaging 400 passing yards per game.
And he doesn't have to do that for them to be successful, right? Like,
Yeah.
he just has to play like Derek Carr to me. The one thing I was gonna say is about their defense. Like, you saw they held this Steelers team to 16 points, who put up 26 on the Bills defense.
I
Who
think
the
it's like
Bills
23 or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, they beat the Bills, and the Bills have this amazing defense, that we were just praising earlier. So I don't know. I have no problems with the Raiders defense right now. They have Casey Hayward in the secondary.
Yeah, Casey has been bringing up their secondary a lot.
Yeah. I can't remember who.
I think
Didn't they get Warwick in the draft?
so.
Trayvon Warwick. I don't know if he's playing for them right now, but point being, I'm not worried about their defense right now. To me, it's just can their receivers stay hot in a way like these guys, like they have to play their best football every week. And can Derek Carr play his best football every week? If they can, then they're going to be just fine. And you've seen nothing from their running game, which is odd because if he had, that'd be insane. And it's not even that the running backs are bad; they just can't produce. So
yeah, we are guaranteed to lose at least one undefeated team this week because this is the first installment of the Cardinals and Rams. So they're playing in Los Angeles. I think right now the edge has to go to the Rams.
Oh yeah,
just because I think
Jalen
on D-Hop.
Yeah, if they were playing in Arizona here, I'd give this game to Arizona.
I don't know. I mean, does Arizona have a good home environment?
Yes, Red Sea baby.
That's what the Titans game turned into. But
Red Sea baby, yeah. Dude, you should have heard that. They were chanting Red Sea so much.
Yeah, but Red Tide.
Roll Tide. Yeah.
But I think with it being in Los Angeles, it's probably going to sway more towards Los Angeles winning the game. Which leaves Broncos probably going to end up losing to the Ravens.
Right.
Panthers are playing the Cowboys. That'll be a pretty good shootout. Sam Darnold. Rest in peace. Sam Darnold's really just going to need to prove that he is a much improved quarterback with the Panthers.
Yeah.
If he wants to win the game. Obviously, the offense is not the problem there, but a defense is going to have to step up, really help out with the absence of J.C. Horn, which is kind of weird because he was a rookie, but he was already doing so much for that defense.
Oh, yeah.
And then Broncos already said probably going to lose to Ravens, which leaves Raiders playing Chargers. That's probably the biggest test, if I had to say. So I think
so far, yeah.
We could end up losing 4 undefeated teams in a week. I think we'll lose 2 or 3.
I think we'll lose 3. I think. Well, okay, so yeah, we're guaranteed to lose 1. I think the Broncos lose. Who did the Panthers play?
Cowboys. I think it's between either Panthers or Raiders staying undefeated for me.
I think the Raiders stay undefeated. I have high hopes for the Raiders.
I don't know. I'm still not as high on the Raiders.
Yeah, and which okay, that's understandable, right? Yeah. Like
just because no one expected this.
But did you watch that Raiders Steelers game at all?
Mm-hmm.
You did?
Yeah.
I watched a lot of that game, and I don't know. I liked what I saw there. That's why I'm facing it. And I watched the Ravens game too. My boy Marcus Mariota. My boy Marcus got hurt on that play. Painful to see. Yeah. But no, yeah. That I like the Raiders here with the Chargers. I like the Panthers too. I think we lose the Cardinals and the Broncos. So it remains with 3. But
yeah, and hopefully next week we can be back and actually have a schedule put down instead of we'll come back in 3 weeks from now.
See you guys week 7.
Yeah. So next week we will hope to be back giving you the results of these undefeated teams games, letting you know who's undefeated, who won't be undefeated after this week. And hopefully we can come back with the biggest storylines of the week and give you the news and updates from around the league. But until then, this is Tunnel Vision Talk signing off for this week, and see ya.